Sitaram, Dr. Raj, the Hindu from Trinidad. We who are descendants of East Indian laborers, indented laborers, living in all the different places throughout the planet Earth, Suriname, Guyana, Trinidad, Barbados, Jamaica, St. Vincent, St. Lucia, Grenada, South Africa, Fiji, Mauritius, all the places that we were sent, our forefathers, our grandfathers and great-grandfathers were sent as indented laborers. We're fortunate in a sense. One, India was not a nice place 100, 200 years ago. It was not. India was a place that was being raped and plundered. There was mass poverty by the Indian and Hindu population. The different castes that you had all blended into one because it was all consumed by poverty. They were subjugated people, humble people. According to Gandhi, do not mistake our humility for cowardice. We are not a coward people. We are very humble. And we were fooled many a times to leave India and go to different places. But remember, Sanatanists, Hindus are transients. We move from one place to the next. We'll tell you even how we move from planet to planet. So we spread throughout this planet. And we are the descendants and the proud descendants of persons who were forced to leave India, who were fooled into leaving India, who volunteered to leave India. So there must be some good karma there for they to leave. They came to the different parts of the world and they catch their ass. We know that. They were treated as badly as some of the worst treated people in the world. But they persevered. They spent their 5-year bond doing what they had to do, living in the most inhumane conditions, being treated as less than human beings, and they persevered. So our forefathers sacrificed and did everything possible to make sure that their children and grandchildren did not have to suffer the same way they suffered. Now, in Sanatan Dharma, it teaches you that when you're doing Pitra Puja, Pitrapak, you concentrate on 2 generations before you, which is your grandparents, your parents and your grandparents, and maybe your great-grandparents, if you know of them. And your concentration and your focus is for 2 generations ahead of you, your children and your grandchildren. So you do everything to make things better for your children and your grandchildren. You educate your children. That is the Sanatanist way. We accumulate wealth, prosperity, and everything else for our children. Education is paramount because we know the value of education. So as a Sanatanist, we have a structure that is second to none. That's why we are so successful when it comes to examinations, when it comes to elevating ourselves, doing better for ourselves, creating a generation that we could be proud of. Of course, there are 1 or 2 misfits and miscreants in every race and culture. So we have that also. But I'll tell you something. The proud Sanatanists are always there looking out for those who are doing better for Sanatan Dharma and Hinduism. And we are proud of that fact. So whether you live in a far-off place, very far from India, Trinidad is very far from India, it's furthest away from India, or you live close to India, we still have that attachment to India because we know the value of Bharat Desh. We know what Bharat Desh means for us. We know the sacrifice our foreparents make coming over the Kalapani Some of them went back and they came back. Some of them went back and stayed. But those who stayed, we must be proud of them. Indian Arrival Day is coming up very soon in Trinidad on the 30th of May. That's when we celebrate Indian Arrival Day. And we should all be proud of that. I'm sure in other countries, they have the same thing. But what I am asking you all is that we are all brothers and sisters in Sanatan Dharma. And we have to connect, and we have to strengthen each other, and we must be there for each other in every way possible. We must make alliances and allegiances, and we should create a chain that cannot be broken by anyone, any belief system. Everyone is free to preach, to pray, and to accept whatever they want to accept. But do not allow anyone to come between us to destroy what we have. The most ancient culture, the most ancient civilization, the most ancient teaching, language, way of life, religion, whatever you want to call it. And we must be proud of that fact. And anyone who tries to put us down, anyone who tries to belittle us, let them know that we come from the greatest of the great. Jai Shri Ram.